In these charts, we're evaluating our client's mechanical work output, or more specifically, his power output on the bike, since he was tested on the bike and he is a cyclist. The power output is measured in watts. In the chart on the left, we see a measure for the peak power output and the power output at the anaerobic threshold. The power output at the anaerobic threshold represents the highest potential power output level that our client or our sample client could sustain for 45 to 60 minutes. This value correlates fairly well with the functional threshold power, or FTP, that cyclists sometimes use to estimate their threshold. Although for individuals who do not ride very often or very hard, that field test type estimate of the theoretical time they could sustain the power may be a little bit overly optimistic. On the other hand, for a very fit and experienced cyclist, the FTP is often an over-prediction of the anaerobic threshold power output. This is one reason why it is important, if you can, to get lab tested in order to accurately evaluate the actual physiology and if it's changing. Probably the most important value that predicts how well a cyclist will do in a race, especially where hill climbs are involved, is to identify that person's power to weight ratio. The center gauge here represents our sample client's current power to weight ratio, and the starred line to the left is the power to weight ratio over time from the testing. A power to weight ratio above 3 is a good goal for most cyclists. However, to become competitive at a high or even professional level, the power to weight ratio is often seen as high as in the 5 to 6 ranges at the anaerobic threshold. As you can see with our client, as his weight goes down, his power to weight ratio goes up. So we can see this as a training effect by decreasing body weight when done right, and obviously increasing the power output he can produce at the anaerobic threshold by beginning to train smarter or more effectively. The chart to the right is comparing the mechanical workload, or watts, with the metabolic demand, the VO2 value, the actual VO2. So the brown bars are the predicted VO2, which is derived from the power output, and the blue bars are the actual VO2 values. We can call this a description of our sample client's energy economy. Another common benchmark that evaluates this training effect is gross efficiency. It is calculated similarly by evaluating actual metabolic work versus mechanical. A high gross efficiency suggests the ability to generate power very effectively by virtue of better form and neuromuscular adaptation.